All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking an absolutely incredible claymation story that serves as a massive metaphor for human potential. We are going to map out a powerful journey of transformation that helps us uncover the latent creative power we all possess. Our source material today takes us through this highly visual narrative of a character named Tomas. And through his story, we're going to see exactly how to shift from feeling completely helpless to becoming the active architect of your own reality. So let's jump right in. We kick things off in the pouring rain. Our main character, a clay guy named Tomez, is slumped over, totally gray, and just looking up at the sky. He asks the exact same question so many of us ask when we feel trapped by our circumstances. Why is this happening to me? You know the feeling, right? It's the ultimate cry of the victim, this heavy sense that life is just a never-ending series of unfortunate events raining down on us from above. So, this brings us to a phase we call the Valley of Shadows, or basically, the reactive life. Tomas is completely boxed in by this gloomy, heavy landscape of jagged, dark clay mountains. And these aren't just random mountains. They represent the exact struggles that block our view of the horizon every single day. You've got the mountain of debt, the mountain of lack, and of course, that all-too-familiar mountain of woe is me. When Tomas stares at these gray obstacles, he's doing exactly what we do when we focus completely on our overwhelming struggles. He is letting his environment completely dictate his state of being. This leads to a really crucial realization about uncontrollable outputs versus controlled inputs. We spend so much time at the mercy of life's outputs. You know, the rain, the mountains, all this stuff life just throws at us. But we completely forget about our controlled inputs, our reactions, our focus, our internal state. The big lesson here is that we often live thinking we're just observers, when in reality, we have the immense power to be active participants by taking charge of our internal inputs. Which leads us straight into the next phase, the hidden treasure, and the revelation of identity. Suddenly, an older, wiser figure steps in and hands Thomas this vibrant, glowing book. He tells Thomas to open it, and a bright light bursts from the pages, highlighting a very specific verse, Psalm 82:6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Reading these ancient words, Thomas experiences a total paradigm shift. It hits him that he isn't just a helpless victim stuck at the bottom of some gloomy valley. He's actually a child of the ultimate creator. And as that profound knowledge really sinks in, Tomas actually transforms physically. His heavy, wet, gray clay skin shifts into this shimmering, radiant gold. It's a perfect visual for his sudden internal awakening to his own divine heritage. Because think about it, when you fundamentally change how you see yourself, your entire presence transforms. This massive awakening catapults us into our third phase, the genesis of power, discovering the creator within. The whole bleak, gray world around him just melts into this vibrant nebula as Tomas reads the foundational text from Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created. The logic here is incredibly empowering. It brilliantly points out that if the creator is inherently creative, and Tomas is made in the exact image and likeness of that creator, then Tomas himself must inherently be a creator right here on Earth. He isn't designed to just endure life, he is quite literally designed to shape it. And that brings us to one seriously powerful word, dominion. This is the divine authority given to humanity to rule, shape, and actively create within our earthly experience. This is not about just barely surviving the storm or scraping by week to week. It is about taking active, intentional authority over our environment and our lives to create real abundance. Think about it like this. Mere survival is expecting the universe to just hand you a pre-built boat to survive a flood. But abundant life? That's entirely different. The creator doesn't hand us a pre-made boat. He gives us a tree, the imagination to see the boat inside the wood, and the power to actually build it. That is what true dominion looks like in action. But to actually use that imagination, Tomas has to look inward. Welcome to Phase 4, the kingdom within, shifting focus from the outside in. We zoom right into Tomas's golden chest and find this miniature glowing kingdom. And here is the vital lesson. You've got the scene, those temporary gray mountains of reality like debt and lack. As long as he just stares at those, he stays a victim. But then you have the unseen, Thomas realizes he has to stop fixing his eyes on the temporary problems and instead focus entirely on the eternal, unseen potential spinning inside his inner golden vortex, his literal kingdom of heaven within. So, how exactly does he bring that unseen potential into reality? Through the spoken word. Thomas discovers that his voice carries immense, literal, creative weight. By intentionally speaking life and abundance, he begins actively dismantling his own limiting beliefs. Our source material heavily emphasizes that according to your faith, it will be done to you. So whatever Thomas firmly believes and speaks into existence inside his inner kingdom must, eventually, manifest out in his physical reality. And this brings us right to the climax of our explainer, the ultimate architect transitioning from Clark Kent to Superman. Thomas is no longer slumped over, he is standing tall. The source material uses this brilliant, kind of hilarious analogy here. It's the whole Clark Kent versus Superman dynamic. Clark Kent is actually Superman, right? But he hunches over, wears glasses, and pretends to be weak just to fit in with a normal world. Superman, on the other hand, fully expresses the superpowers he was born with. The message is profound. You were born with superpowers, but you've been playing Clark Kent just to fit in with a world that is constantly obsessed with lack. But, taking off those glasses requires a totally radical mindset shift, summed up in 3 very challenging words. It's my fault. Now, I know at first that sounds like a heavy burden, but by boldly declaring it's my fault, Thomas takes complete and utter ownership of his circumstances. And paradoxically, accepting this absolute responsibility gives him the absolute power to change everything. Think about it. If you didn't create the mess, you don't have the power to clean it up. By owning it, you own the solution. Thomas is done being a passive consumer of his reality. He's now an active architect of life. We actually see his glowing golden hands literally grab those dark, jagged mountains of debt and lack, and he kneads the clay. He physically reshapes them into a beautiful, vibrant city of abundance. He uses his newfound dominion to mold his reality. The overarching message of Thomas's entire journey boils down to this: creative power isn't somewhere way out there in the sky. It is entirely, 100% within you. Consciously shifting your internal vibration, your focus, and your words right now actively determines your destiny tomorrow. So what's the actual practical roadmap to claiming this divine dominion and restructuring your reality? Our source lays out a very clear scriptural summary. Step 1, ask. Step 2, seek. Step 3, knock. And step 4, absolutely the most crucial of all, believe that you have already received it in your inner kingdom, and you shall see it in your outer world. Which leaves us with one final major thought. You've seen Thomas transform from a gray victim into a golden architect. The only question left is for you. Are you going to keep reacting to the gray rain, pretending to be Clark Kent? Or are you ready to take ownership, embrace those inner superpowers, and become the ultimate architect of your own abundant life? The clay is in your hands. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.